So as part of my research into film noir, I've decided to look at the traditional characters you get in the films and also the settings you get in the genre. So looking at the traditional characters first, you normally are given a traditional male protagonist who is some sort of detective and anti-hero. So he is the main character in the film and is usually forced into some sort of corrupt activity by the female character in the film that sort of manipulates him into doing it. And then he's sort of left to find a way out of it by himself once he realises that she's actually forced him into do something bad. They are commonly presented as alone and isolated. There's normally a lot of shots which present them as completely alone in sort of a scenario of sort of an urban isolated setting with no one around. So, and they also are not given many close relationships in the film either, so that they can easily be manipulated by the female character as they are quite alone in the film. The story is also usually told from their perspective, and they are given quite a few voiceovers and a lot of dialogue in order to get the story across from their perspective, so it is from their point of view. So specifically looking at Double Indemnity, this is Walter, Fred McMurray. He is what I would believe is a traditional protagonist. He falls in love with the femme fatale in the film and then is manipulated into murdering her husband as a scam to basically get her more money. I'd say he is represented as quite alone. There's quite a few shots where he's like walking down streets and stuff completely by himself in sort of an urban setting. There's no one around and he just looks quite isolated. He also doesn't have many relationships, only with sort of his managers at work. That's about it. He's never seen as very supported anywhere, so that's why he can easily be manipulated by the femme fatale. I'd also say he comes across as quite wealthy and has a high reputation in his job. He's always dressed in some sort of suit, which would again reflect his wealth and authority, to tell the audience that he has a highly paid job and is reputable in what he does. And you find out in the film he's actually an accountant. So, however, there is a twist in the plot, and he ends up murdering the femme fatale to show sort of the change in his character at the end of the film, and the fact there needs to be some sort of moral resolution. She has done so many things wrong. She needs to be punished for what she's done. However, as well as that, he actually ends up dying as well, as sort of another moral resolution for the fact he did help her murder her husband, so therefore he has committed a crime, and also he has murdered her as well, so there needs to be some sort of resolution there, even though we do empathise with this character in the fact that he is manipulated by her. So as well as that, you are given a femme fatale normally in a film, so she is the main and normally the only female character in the film. She is typically blonde, it's normally curly hair that they clip up. As well as that, she is normally dressed in a seductive way, so they're normally dressed in some sort of low-cut dress or top or something. And there's normally the theme of red going through their outfits as well, so it's like red lips, red nails, red shoes, something along those lines, which tell you again that she's an evil character and is quite malicious in her behaviour. So they are very empowering and deceptive, and they manage to trap the detectives in the films, or the protagonists, into falling in love with them, and then they use this to help them do something bad. So it's normally some sort of murder or crime which would then result in a gain for them, such as money. And they usually change the man's life for worse, really, and ruin their lives. So looking directly at Double Indemnity again, you've got Phyllis in this film, who's played by Barbara Stromwick. She is the femme fatale, and she's also represented, I think, as a normal traditional femme fatale in these sort of films. She has the blonde curly hair, the red lips, she's always in low-cut clothes, and we are first introduced to her in just a towel, so again reflecting the sort of seductive female character they're meant to be. So she uses the protagonist in this film, Walter, to take the money off her husband, but Walter realises what she is doing, and she loses her power when he murders her as a result of a punishment for what she's put him through. However, it's too late for him, and she's already seduced him into corrupt activity, so he's already done the bad crime before, and it's too late for him as well, sort of thing. So it's still quite a sad ending, and she's still gained power that way, in the fact that she's still got her own way, even though she has died. She's still killed her husband. So then moving on to setting, you've got in film noirs it's usually set in some sort of urban area, and or like famous cities. So if you look at Los Angeles, for example, that's based where LA Confidential was filmed and is set. So, and I believe this is because cities have been analysed as sort of a reputation of a maze. So because there's so many buildings and shops and so there's something everywhere around every corner, it sort of creates the illusion of barriers and places to hide, which are the common themes in film noirs. So you've got the idea that they can hide who they really are, so deception and hiding their real character behind sort of the buildings. It's sort of a maze to get to the real, true identity of the people in the film. So again, and it also reflects the idea that the protagonist's path isn't made easy for them. So if you look in Double Indemnity, it's set in a city, and his path is definitely not easy for him. The woman makes it hard for him to find out the truth. So as well as I've already mentioned, so if you look at LA Confidential as an example of setting, it also has the Hollywood feel to it. So you've got the Hollywood idea in Los Angeles of the justice system in America. So they're trying to reflect the idea that they're creating barriers and hiding from the general public the truth of what the police force are actually doing, as they are in this film very corrupt and out for themselves. So the scenes set in the cities can reflect the barriers and the entrapment of the characters. So if you look at, there's quite a few characters that are trapped by the main top policeman Dudley, who forces them all into trying to work out who the real criminal is, when in fact it's him, and he was hiding it all along. You've also got the use of the derelict housing as well, which is later on in the film, where the final fight happens, and that's the goodies against the baddies. So you've got the idea again of isolation and sort of a dangerous situation, as it's derelict, is obviously not wanted by anyone. So that's why there's no one around. It sort of reflects just the dangerous atmosphere that they're in. So again, settings can be very important in film noirs and reflect a certain atmosphere or character without even the audience realising, which is a common theme in film noirs. They always have a real symbolism behind them. There's normally some sort of complicated idea which gives it a hidden meaning, which you might not realise first time round you watch it.